too smooth, that mud talking to have your ass in a wreck. Who's signing your check? Pussy better do what he says. We shutting down shows. Ain't gotta put no price in your head. Man, I'm coming for your tongue for all that shit that you said.
Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is like I do daily, and then I'm gonna tell you what it ain't. In fact, I'm gonna tell you what it ain't first. It ain't no bullshit, right? What it is real talk by a real individual in real life that did real things and is a real one. Now, Trip, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're gonna profile a Varrio. Now, I know most of the time we profile individuals, places, things of that nature. This is a Varrio, and the reason why I wanted to profile this particular Varrio out of the city of San Jose is San Jose, for those that don't know, South Bay area. This Varrio is, man, it's got an extensive history. It's old, right? It's one of the more older established Varrios out of the city of San Jose. I'm not going to say it's the oldest because I can't call it like an alcoholic, but I will say that it's been around for a very, very long time. In fact, it predates Norteños and Sureños. It's been around since before these labels were put on people, and people were striving for that particular cause. So Varrio Horseshoe Parque, you know, located on the west side of San Jose. Now, this is a Varrio that has a lot of history, a lot of historia, and a lot of cultura goes into this Varrio. It's been around since the early 50s, 60s, and was established, like I said, well before there were Norteños and Sureños, and came from the LA area. Yes, I said it first. I'll say it here again. A lot of Varrios that are established in San Jose were derived from Varrios from the LA area. You have Clanton, that's in the city of San Jose. You have Vickystown, which have now changed their name to Varrio Sur 13. You have, and there's still some Vickytown gangsters, man. You have a lot of different Varrios that came and established subsets or established Varrios within the city of San Jose, San Jose. And Horseshoe Park is one of them. Okay, now the Horseshoe territory, man, was pretty much most of the west side, man, all the way up to Gardner Park. Now, with the establishment of a lot of Sureños, a heavy Sureño presence in that area, they have moved to the other side of the freeway. They're no longer in the Gardner Park. I'm sure there's some old vatos still that represent Horseshoe that live around there. But as far as the Varrio extending there, it's reached that far, it's no longer there. And I did time with a lot of vatos from Varrio Horseshoe, okay? A lot of time from Horseshoe, man. Shout out to the boy Bubba's, right? Real talk, XIV, all blasted on the head. I remember running into him, and I wanted to tell a little story about meeting him. So I pull up from Nellis to Preston in YA, California Youth Authority. And I remember that day, man, leaving early in the morning. This was me and the homeboy me and the homeboy Boo from Stockton, Barrio Central. We were on this bus, man. I remember seeing the homeboy Spookio de Islas Casitas Salas. He was paroling. He ends up paroling. We catch this green goose, bro. Not the gray goose, the green goose, the green hornet. We catch this motherfucker to Preston, right? And it was an all-day bus ride, man, from Whittier, from in LA, all the way up north to Ione, California, to where Preston is. And I remember pulling in and seeing this castle and seeing everything that everyone ever told me it was going to be. Now it's time to knuckle up or buckle up, man. It's time to fucking do what I had to do, because now I'm up north. It's a different animal to down south. I've been down south for the last 3 years, and I went through my trials and tribulations, my strife and my struggles. I toiled in that soil. I did what I had to do to establish my name and to put it down for the people and to protect me and mines. Now it's time to go up north and protect me, right? Mines is already there. It's me now. So I get there, me and the homeboy Boo, we're kind of looking at each other. I'm like, don't trip, carnal, I got your back. If anything, bro, we get off together, carnalita. He's like, órale. And so we pull up. And I remember pulling up, they put us on Cedar Lodge. And Cedar Lodge was considered their reception. It was kind of like a little reception unit. You walked in, you had to walk upstairs, and that's where the dorm was located, the little day room. As soon as you walked in, the latrine area or the bathroom was to the right. And I remember the placa says, all right, sit down. And there was us two and a couple Africanos. And there was one vato that was a Sureño from Sanger. And they sat us down and they said, okay, this is how it's going to go down. You guys are going to go back into the dorm. Your guys' as MAC reps or representatives for each one of your organizations is back there. Now, that shit blew my mind because, what the fuck you mean, our MAC reps for our organization? This was not something I was accustomed to. I was kind of accustomed to, okay, we'll get in where we fit in. We'll find our homeboys will find us, and we'll do it pushing like that. So we did what they said. We went to the back, and of course, there was 2 Africanos, 2 Crips, 2 Bloods, 2 Bulldogs, 2 Norteños, 2 Sureños. That's just the way it was. And it tripped me out that everybody was side by side and they were all chopping it up. And as soon as we walked in, they hit one of these, scared straight shit, right? And they started to hit us up individually. And of course, not like, hey, man, are you going to come program? Like, where you from, Holmes? I said, West Side Merced Norte XIV, dead end locals, right? Orale. Where you from? Boo, Barrio Central, Stockton. All right, boom, boom, bang, bada, bang, bang. The Sureño was like, Sanger Sureño. The Vatos, the Bulldogs looked at him like, oh, we're going to talk to you about that. The Sureños were like, shh, fucking ASC, kick back, Holmes. These Bulldogs are different. Facts. So I remember two of the vatos that hit us up, they were both from the city of San Jose, Sanjo. One of them being the homeboy Bubba's from the west side of Horseshoe, and the other vato being Turtle from East Palmas, right? Islas Palmas, or El Hoyo Palmas, excuse me. Or was it Islas Palmas? It was Palmas. Anyways, he hits me up. And it's all good, man. They're like, oh, you guys came from Nellis. Oh, yeah, we heard about you. The homeboy Skin and the homeboy Boo. That's right. Boo, boo, boo. The embracement was really kind of, Canalismo was there. And me and Bubba's ended up becoming good friends. I wouldn't say taitas, but we became good friends. And we chop it up all the time. I tell him stories, war stories about Nellis. And he'd tell me what was going on in Preston. He basically gave me the rundown and laced me up on how it was going to be there. How the perros, man, weren't not necessarily on site, but the funk was on daily. And I said, well, what about these pedals right here? Why don't we get off where we're mad at? He says, are you mad? I said, not really. He said, just don't get off, right? It's all good, bro. When we hit the linea, that's when the wiggle gets real. That's when the homeboys will run us down on what's to happen. I said, okay. He started telling me about Sanjo. One day we kicked back and we started chopping it up about the city of San Jose. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it quite frank with you, and I'm going to keep it real. These vatos from Sanjo were always different, especially in the youth authority. As we went to prison, they still were a little bit different. They still functioned like this together, and everyone else was kind of like on the outside looking in, especially being a Vallero from the Valle. We got no love, and I thought we knew it. Well, you know how we do it, right? But the city of Sanjo, he started telling me, about the different sides, the east side, the south side, the north, of course, and the west side. And he said that his barrio was probably the oldest, if not one of the oldest barrios in San Jose. And started to tell me the history, how they came from LA, how they established on the west side, bro, and how the predominant enemy not only were the Sureños that were in the surrounding areas. There was a Tamale Gangsters 13, there was fucking SSP and a couple other hoods. He told me that the barrio that they most beef with was actually another Norteño barrio, being the west side mob, the Mobsteros, because they were the two biggest and largest clicas on the west side of Sanjo. They fought for territory, homes. They fought just to fight, and this was a gang rivalry or a warfare that had been going on for several decades. Now, I did previous time with Batos from the mob, Monkey from the mob, of course, Güero or Monchis from the mob, and I respected these guys. So when he told me that those were his enemigas, I tripped. Because, see, I'm used to Sureños down south having enemigas. Of course, Playboys, Florencia, 18, the Maravillas, all these different gangs had enemigas, that were the next street over that they got off with where they were mad at. But this was something different. I was not used to Norteños really beefing with each other. Now, I know at this time in the early 90s, the red on red was very prevalent. It was happening, right? I know even in Merced, it was the north side versus the west side, but I hadn't felt a taste of this yet because I had been locked up at a very young age. To me, it was the norte is the norte, period. We're going to strive together and ride together. So we need everyone we got. We got everyone we need. And that's what it was. Whereas he told me, Charlie, it was different. The red on red was very visible in the city of Sanjo. But the Sureños in the early 90s were starting to move in and establish, planting their flags all over the town. And they started to focus and shift their attention more towards the sur, right? Because the Sureños were becoming fucking deep, to which they are deep in the city of Sanjo. It's like almost fucking 50-50 now, to be totally honest. Those that say it ain't, well, they're bullshitting. They're lying, right? There still is a heavy Norteño presence, and Varrio Horseshoe is around. Now, I've heard a lot of stories of vatos telling me, hey, Horseshoe is no longer what they were. And, of course, every barrio changes with the times. A lot of the old gangsters that were really established, man, as you can tell, vatos on the thumbnail that had pride in their barrio, had it blasted all over them, especially a barrio like Horseshoe Parque that had a deep history and was very rich in their cultura. You got to understand that over time, things change. Youngsters don't want to get those same tattoos, homes. They're not trying to get involved in the same crime. Everybody's chasing the bag now. Nobody's chasing the paño. A lot of people don't want to gangbang, or if they do, they want to do it differently. They want to do it from the keyboard, right? There's different types of gangbanging that is going on nowadays. So, but there still are some vatos that are established and represent their barrio to the fullest. So it's always going to be around, okay? There's always going to have a presence, especially in the city of San Jose, where you got a lot of different old school barrios like Grande, Horseshoe, Capitol Park, the mob. These are well-known gangs. You have vatos from the East Side hoods, which started in CYA. I did a lot of time with vatos from the hoods. Hoodsteros were deep. Varrio Mas Locos, Chingon, Monteban. These are different barrios out of the city of San Juan. There's many, many, many others. You know, Varrio North Side, Varrio Norte Homeboys, NSSJ, motherfucking gangsters. You know, the list can go on and on and on and on. Of course, someone from the city of San Juan is going to know a little bit more than I do. These are just individual barrios and people that I met from there that I know, you know, so they told me. Palmas, of course. Now, Trip, so chopping it up with the homeboy, he told me a lot of stories about what would happen in the city of San Juan. And up to this point, man, I never went to the city of San Jose and visualized it for myself. When I was a little kid, Spencer, when I was a little kid, I did go to the Varrios flea market with my fucking dad. We went and sold some fucking used tires and a pull-out stereo. But this is when I was little. Orale, you know what I mean? And it was a big old flea market, I remember. But I had never, as an adult, went to the city of San Jose. So here I go, I get out. It's 1996, and like I said, I met a lot of homeboys from a lot of different places. So I would tap in on my little dirty ass red phone book from YA. I used to look through it, and I'd see homeboys' names, their monikers: Bugsy, Fever, Bubba's, Sasuke Bibi, Sasuke Droopy. Sasuke Droopy? There was like 3 Droopies, one from Baisa, one from Tula, and one from fucking I don't know where, right? Egypt. But anyways, Droopy was a pretty well-known name. I tapped in with the homeboy that Sanjo, right? I'm not going to say his name because he's still functioning. But let's just say he was a good, righteous homeboy. And he was like, hey, you guys come through. Come kick it. It's going to be Cinco de Mayo. I'd already been out. This is like maybe 97, in fact. He was like, it's going to be Cinco de Mayo, bro. We kick it over here in the city of Sanjo. Now, I had always heard that Frisco and Sanjo are the 2 cities to be in up north in Northern California during Cinco de Mayo, man. That's when the car shows are popping. That's when vatos are headhunting the Southsiders and vice versa. It's just a lot of fun. Back then in the 90s, man, it was a whole lot of fun. You can knock a bitch, right? So all you got to do is evade the fucking shiesty approaches of the cucaracha, and you're good. So me and a few of the homeboys decided that for no other reason we should jump in the homeboy 6'4", right? It was a clean red 6'4" too, and wiggle out to the city of San Jose so we could display our colores, represent our Varrio, and go chill with the homeboys. And a couple of the homeboys we were chilling with were from Horseshoe Parque. They were from Varrio Horseshoe. And these guys were with the business, bro. It was different in San Jose. Whereas in Merced, yeah, we kept it old school. We kept it gangster. But we had a lot of different estilos, right? San Jose was different at this time. Everyone was creased up, bands, old school. They looked like they came out of a fucking the Duke of Earl movie, right? Straight out of East Los. These vatos just dress differently, act differently, and we're heavily ingrained into the San Jose culture. Now, I will say the cultura in San Jose is a little bit different. They keep it very, very Chicano, very, very old school. Nowadays, things have changed. You'll still see a whole bunch of bald heads, a whole bunch of Ben Davises, and a whole bunch of suspenders. But you will also see a whole bunch of Edgars, a whole bunch of tight-ass pants, and a whole bunch of vatos TikToking. Arale, TikTok, right? I just signed up for one. You will see this in the city of San Jose, but not necessarily in Varrio Horseshoe. You know, they have fucking an image to uphold. It's just like going to San Fran, the Mission District. You know what you're going to get when you go to San Fran. You're going to either get a whole bunch of fucking old veteranos or a bunch of youngsters fucking wearing fur on their jacket with gold teeth, braids. Holmes talking about norteño, right? It's one or the other. There is no in between. And that's pretty much how it's been in the city of San Fran in the Mission District. The city of San Jose is quite different. You know, at least to my eyes, in the 90s, it was all Ben Davises, Cortezes, and fucking San Jose shark shirts. Oh my, period. Nowadays, you can't even distinct fucking the Sureños and the Norteños. They all look the same. They're all wearing San Jose sharks with sharks blasted, with Sharkstero and San Jose all over their face. Hey, you a homeboy? Simon, well, to what degree of homeboy are you? Because the wind's blowing, right? You don't know. That's just the way it is. You know, you have to be on your P's and Q's, dot your I's and cross your T's around the city of fucking San Jose, or you can come up short. So anyways, we went out there and we were chilling, and it was Cinco de Mayo. I've told the story lightweight a little bit, how I got arrested and I went to Santa Clara County Jail just for the night. So I was getting drunk for the night. I wasn't trying to get crossed out, free cane, you know, in fact, speaking about Santa Clara County. But I went, we were kicking back and we were all posted up on Story. And Story's a very well-known street in the city of San Jose. And we were out there posted up, chilling. It was me and a couple homeboys from Horseshoe. There was a homeboy from Eastside Hoods that we did hook up with that I got out of YA. It was basically our Ranfla from YA. All the homies that had kicked it, we tried to reach out and touch everybody that was there and post up. And we're chilling with some hyenas. Everyone's drinking out there. And I was feeling the vibe, man, because the city of San Jose wiggles on Cinco de Mayo. If you ain't never been out there, go trip out on it. Mexican flags, people representing the cultura, huelga bird flags. I felt at home, pretty much. You know, I felt I was in the norteño area. And there wasn't too much of a heavy presence of Sureños at this time. So I thought, right? All of a sudden, the homeboy from Horseshoe was like, watch out, there's them vatos from Vickystown. Right? And I said, Vickystown. Simon, he said this, right? Vickystown. And I said, get a rope, right? And we all gathered together. There was about 20 of us total. and a few homeboys from Merced. Like I said, a whole bunch of homeboys from San Juan, a couple homeboys from Alviso, and there was a homeboy from Pita. There was just different homeboys. When we all got together and we took flight, bro, we rushed. And there was probably about 8 or 9 Sureños. And I'm not going to lie, bro, they were walking around the city of San Juan, blue paños, fucking Charlie Browns, Ben Davis, down Saskia, representing where they were from. You knew right off the top. They weren't hiding it, homes. They were dividing it. You feel me? And it was on. It was on. I was like, Saskia, I'm back in LA. Right? Only my Mongolian was longer, Saskia, and I was a little bit swoller. That was the only difference. And we were getting it. And of course, Placas came. They caught a few of us, threw us in the paddy wagon, took us to Santa Clara County, where we were booked and released. OR, released on our own recognizance, because Saskia, you can't prove that I was in. I'm innocent. I'm from Merced. I think by me and my ID saying I was from Merced, I was like, oh, I'm just a tourist, man. I was just here. I just happened to be in an area, man. I seen a whole bunch of Asians and blacks fighting. We always blame it on Asians and blacks. Spencer, don't tell them when the secret's out, right? I seen a whole bunch of Asians and blacks fighting. I can't call it. It had nothing to do with us, right? Bam. I was able to wiggle, me and the homeboys, and we got on back down the yellow brick road. The moral to that story is, man, the Vatos from Horseshoe don't play. They're with the activities. They're with the business. And traditionally, they have been. But what I like about that Varrio so much, man, and why that Varrio stands out to me, 2 reasons. One, the establishment of them being around predates the Norte. And that's what I like, man, because some of them older Varrios are no longer in existence. You know, I think when the Norteño and the Sureño movement started, what happened is a lot of these old Varrios started to collapse or started to wither away because they didn't really traditionally want anything to do with fighting your own people. A lot of them were Varrios that protected their own little neighborhoods, but they had love for the brown people. They had love for the Mexicanos, you know, for the paisas. They had love for the people that they would see, the paleta man and the people selling flowers and oranges on the corner. You know, and this is the type of love that I have for the gente. You see them striving hard, working hard. You have that love. When you see gang violence and red on red and blue on blue and Chicanos fighting each other, man, that's a turnoff. That's a turnoff to a lot of people that have pride, that are warriors, and that believe that we should be protecting our own. So they decide to fold in on themselves, man, and they become defunct and no longer are established or no longer are heard from. And it happens to a lot of Varrios. Vatos get incarcerated. They start 10 to 2. He's like, where are your antennas when the Varrio's gone, right? I don't know. One day they're there, the next day they're not. But a Varrio has outlasted and outlived a lot of other neighborhoods, and that's Varrio Horseshoe. So I send my full respects, and I kind of wanted to profile this Varrio because it's well known. You know, it's well known and well documented. They are also one of the only other Varrios. There's been a few, man, that have almost caught that green light from the Norteños, you know, from the organization that counts up there. Straight up, you know, the mob, I've always been traditionally known to go against the grain. When I say the mob, I mean West Side mob. These Vatos were rambunctious. They were different. They were about it. Their wiggle was definitely real. Everyone that I've met from the mob, man, you know, will put hands on you, fingertips and toes. They're not playing, man. Shout out to that Gucci guy, man. He's out there doing his thing. The rap is real. But the Vatos from Varrio Horseshoe also found themselves in the same situation because of movements the youngsters were making. One thing I can say, though, about Varrio Horseshoe is a lot of the youngsters were laced up game tight. You know, these old school Vatos from Horseshoe, like I said, they had the old traditional Norteño swag where they would lace their people up. You know, kind of that Salas swag, you know, where you're fucking born with a filero and a baño, and that's what you get. So let's get what's in your bottle. King Cobra, drink it, right? That's what it is. Anyways, with that being said, man, I just wanted a lightweight profile West Side Varrio Horseshoe in the city of San Juan and say, man, it's a very beautiful place. If you've ever went there, man, there's a lot of murals. There's a lot of places, man, of old establishment. You get that Chicano vibe, and I love that. I like to travel all over Califas, man, and go view old Varrios. Of course, I do it on the late night when no one's looking because they will blast my ass, right? Hey, what are you, you that what the gunner from YouTube? From where? From YouTube. What are you doing over here in my Varrio, say? You know what I mean? I'm taking pictures. That's why. You going to report it? I'm going to do a spill on YouTube. I'm like, hey, wait, watch out. Get me in there. You know what I mean? I owe you one. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about struggling and striving for your familia and for yourself. Ain't no one going to do it for you. Get up, baboso. Just get shoes, Red Wings, and get out there and make money. Anyways, there's a little notification bell. If you like this, please hit that so you can be notified every time I drop one of these bangers. Hit that thumbs up if you like it, man. If not, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy as the head that wears the crown. Of course, if you're from the city of San Juan, I know you're going to drop a comment. Speaking on Horseshoe Parque, I will say this. I represent, man, dead end. I represent Merced, man. I represent the love for the people, but I do got love for Varrio Horseshoe in the city of San Juan. Stand up. Bang, bang.